all great rising. Come on for the walk. Or, hey, favorite snack and Wednesday. Get your chair if you're doing chair exercises. Line up. If you walk the wall or in place. Hey, the great Ron Jackson in the morning. Get your mats. If you're going to do some stretching. Hey, I started my treadmill. Start your treadmill and get your bike ready. Let's get ready for this brief workout. If I stop walking, y'all. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mr. Ron Jackson is still in concert all over the place. Yeah. Telling you. I'm telling you. Come walk with me. Save your feet and toes. That bogus holiday is coming. I know so many bogus holidays they call it. They don't call it festivals anymore, celebrations. On this penal colony. If the white man says it's holy, it's holy. Holy day. But see, y'all getting ready to get tripped up on the holy day, which is supposed to be a celebration of the harvest. But on this penal colony, they tell a story, a lie, about the pilgrims starving. There's no way the pilgrims would have been starving because everywhere the pilgrims came in was African, the prisoners of war who were sent to this penal colony. And every child after that from them enslaved. So that's bullshit. And my ancestors vowed to me that turkey and meat eating could symbolize, because you know they're into cannibalism, could symbolize. So when that vibration hit me hard, besides, I could almost eat a slice of turkey and pass out. But, once that hit me, and I got the message, I was like, oh yeah, no, Native Americans couldn't help you. You was killing them to make room. That's what the crowns of Europe was doing. And all of Europe. Even the Heidelbergs, the Heidelberg, that German, don't even start me. Anyway, thanks for coming on the walk. Like, comment, share, tell uncle, tell auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. So y'all know why I didn't walk yesterday. Anywho, a conquered people. A conquered people. Now I knew that we were descendants of the African prisoners of war placed on this penal colony by the crowns of Europe. And every child they had was enslaved and labeled a born-in-blood inmate criminal. But I'm vibing with the ancestors. And I'm saying, yeah, 600 years ago, yeah. But they dragging us out the car in the millennium, the 21st century. It can't be that. It gotta be more than that. If it's that, I'm fine with the ancestors. If it's that, it can't just be that. It has to be more than that. I'm vibing with them. I can't see it, I'm not, but I know there is. And as I told y'all, I'm listening to my podcast, true crime podcast, and it's about a case in Hawaii. I still have it here. The Massey Affair. Can you believe it? They call it an affair. A white woman blamed Hawaiian for raping her for they did everything they could to destroy those 4 Hawaiians, and then one they just killed. And they call it the Massey Affair. Do you see how these junkyard dogs are? Listen. So I said, wait a minute. They was doing that here to us, to my ancestors. Remember, I went to the hanging tree. So I was like, wait a minute. I said, but the Hawaiian people are an occupied people. These junkyard dogs and their wardens got rid of their monarchy, destroyed it, and conquered the people. They're a conquered people. So I said, wait a minute. That's what they did to us, to our ancestors, but they're not a conquered people. They were brought here as prisoners of war of the crowns of Europe, labeled born in blood inmate criminals. This is not our land we're protecting. The Native Americans are the occupied people. The crowns and these junkyard dogs totally control them. They got the land, but when they want to do what the hell they want to do on that land, they just go ahead and do it because they are occupied people. But I'm fine with the ancestors. I said, but that's not us. This ain't our land. Our land is on the continent that they made sure to get us far away from. I said, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. We are occupied people. That's why the NRA will always be here. African Americans don't fall in with these white people, these still white people. The NRA will always be here to make sure the occupied people are put in their place. They're going to zone us. That's what you do with occupied. And you say, how do I know that? Because they taught me German history. They broke it down how Germany went in and did all this shit. What they didn't tell us was that the Germans was going after the German Ethiopians. All right now. Yes, indeed. That's them Heidelbergs, whatever. That's what they knickers was all in a knot about. The Ethiopians came through. They came through the mountains. They came through the Yid. They call them Yiddish tribes. And they made it. And that's who he was getting rid of, Hitler. Very successful. They owned all the stores, all the banks, all the rock. Exactly. German Ethiopians. But then they started birthing out the Ethiopian, which is the African, but they kept the culture. They kept the Hebrew. They birthed out the African and kept the Hebrew. But a lot of them, they still German Ethiopians. And that's when they said, this religion is a race. No, it's not. The race is German and Ethiopian mix. That's the race. The religion, or cult as I call it, is Hebrew. Now, I understand being on this penal colony, why you'd birth it out. Because if you kept it, you would be like us, occupied people. Limited in what we can do and what we can get. That's why there's a Voting Rights Act. Because by right, we're not supposed to vote. Occupied people, occupado, don't vote. That's why we have to have a Voting Rights Act. And only the executive warden can implement it or not. And as we saw with the orange shit stain, he didn't implement it. And when government don't implement it for us to vote, that's when they come down with their guns and stuff. The citizens arrest. The not occupied people, but the people occupied us. When they came out those mountains, they had every right. Every right to stop us from voting. We are now we've always been occupied people. First we was enslaved, and after enslavement came occupation. That's why you can't get no bank loans. That's why if you do get a bank loan, where somebody is paying 3%, you paying 30%. That's why ain't no reparation coming through. I don't give a damn who you vote for. I've been voting since I was 19. I ain't seen nothing yet. So you don't necessarily have to own the land or have roots in the land to be an occupied people. You can be moved to a land and become an occupied person or occupied people. So that's why, after we put all that vote in for Joe Biden, he gave us a black warden, a judicial black warden. I saw it right then and there. I said, holy shit, we occupied people. We occupied people. Get rid of that racist shit. That's the smoke screen. That's the smoke screen. I think about where I live. They have like 3 amphitheaters. They just added another one. They had 2 that nobody went to. Now they got 3 that nobody goes to. And we're saying roller skate. The kids are saying skateboard, skateboard. And they saying hell no. The occupied people cannot have that. Because if they get that, the patty rollers have to come in and destroy it. It's like an edict. When I see those concerts and stuff like that, they say shootout and stuff afterwards, I was like, oh wow, they set that up nicely. I'm telling you. Set it up right quite nicely. I think I'm crooked on my Facebook thing. So I'm like, oh shoot. Okay, that makes sense. Stop telling me if I'm a citizen when I'm not. I know what my vote is now. I remember they said, I read it several times, that LBJ, Hatfield, McCoy, and Duggar, Hillbilly, Hoot and Holler, Executive Warden, he signed the Voting Rights Act. against all the edicts of the land to allow us to vote. And he said, I'll have these descendants voting for Democrats forever. And he laughed. I didn't, and Martin Luther King standing there smiling, everybody smiling, and LBJ was laughing. I didn't get it. Until now, I'm on my way out. Everything becomes clear. Everything becomes clear. That's why I tell people, young people, hold on. It may be confusing now, but it's fitting ready to come all together. So, we get together, we vote Democrat. We don't get anything. They have the numbers. That's all they want. They want the numbers. They don't plan to do a damn thing. Nothing. Nothing. Ain't that something? They just want the numbers. Well, you see, I have these many voters. They're going to say I have a whole lot of African American voters, because you have to say, what the hell are you doing? Oh, and here's another thing how you know you're an occupied person, people. I remember how in the clips from the wars in Afghanistan and different places like that, how they used to look at the African American soldiers. And I think, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember somebody saying, how can you come, speaking to the African American soldiers, how can you come and save me in my country when you can't save yourself in your own? You are occupied people. How the hell are you coming to free me? Wouldn't you free yourself first? Wouldn't you free yourself first from occupation? Wouldn't you? And I think about my father. He over in Korea. He helping the Korean people. He setting the Korean people free. He giving them liberty. And he came back and that had to stand in the back of the bus. How he going to free anybody in Korea? He can't free anybody in Tahira. Penal colony. Them folks must have been laughing their asses off. You're such a good soldier. You're such a good fighter. But last week we saw on television where they was dragging your dead body behind the back of a truck while them yahoos was drinking moonshine and waving the American flag. How is it that you can come save me, free me from my occupation, but you can't free yourself? So, I'm going to see if I can get this in. From way back, when I left the cult, Southern Baptist cult in Charleston, South Carolina, reading, other than if you're reading the Bible in the newspaper, Poison and Poison, was wasn't encouraged. My cousins tore up my books, took my pens. They didn't even go to school. They didn't care. But it didn't matter. As long as they knew how to get a husband, take care of them, make sure you do all the work, take care of everything, and stay married, and that's fine. But that wasn't my thing. So, when I emancipated myself, ran off to Knoxville College, and got my books, I ate them. I can still remember certain things and what pages they were on. Yep. And when I got back with my sisters and I got married, my sisters were avid readers. So I felt comfortable again. Because my father's kids wasn't readers. And when I went down south, they definitely weren't. But I came from, my big sister used to take me to the library all the time. So, well, when she had to, she didn't do it all the time, when she was forced to. So, I started reading, and that's when I got into my first true crime. Did I announce that after 20 minutes, we take a break? I want to break something. Well, this is it. Yeah, y'all, you hear me say, push out my pelvis. I was doing it subconsciously. I was using my voice in my head. I'm so sorry, Facebook, but this camera looks a little shady. Okay. Yeah. I'm walking, y'all. Ron Jackson. Trying to save my feet. Yeah. Look at me. I ain't been on the skates, y'all. This extra 15 minutes. I'll be 66 this month. It was too much, so we got 45 minutes a day, Thursday, Friday, and then we even. Whew. As long as I don't take days off, I do the half hour, I can go skating. With that 40 minutes, I'm talking to y'all, that's a lot, y'all. 66 this month. I can't even tell you how happy I am. Yeah, I said, come on with me. I cannot even tell you how happy I am. Because I've asked these questions all my life and I've looked for answers. I don't think that for some reason, sorry FB, but for some reason the camera is looking awful cloudy. Alright, way better. Well, you know what? If the camera is crooked, but I refuse to let it be crooked and cloudy. It'll be cloudy. Okay. Or maybe it's my glasses. So, when I came back, let me slow it down. So when I came back to New York and got with my reading sisters, the first thing I did was I would get books by the size. So I read a lot of romantic novels. You know, the Far Away, how she loves him, she hates him, he takes her this place, he does that. And I wouldn't even go into the stores looking at the title or I just wanted to know whether it was thick. And the thicker, the better. So, I run across, that was my introduction to true crime. Helter Skelter. Charlie Manson. And I read that Charlie Manson brought the family together for a race war against, he said, the blacks, or the N-word. I remember reading that, I was like, well, what would he want to start a war with us? Then you go in, reading the book, and they're collecting ammunition and stuff for the big war with us. And I'm saying to myself, why he want a war with us? We just came here to pick cotton. They kidnapped us. That story, I could almost throw up in my mouth every time I say it. They kidnapped us and brought us over here to pick cotton and shit. So why would you want to race war us? We don't know nothing about no race war. We know cotton, cattle, building stuff, feeding y'all. That's what we know. Why would we want to have a race war? Y'all already killing the hangouts and everything else. Guys. Well, all these years later, totally clear. We were occupied people. Go back. Listen, I was educated by the German Ethiopians in New York City. And they told me about occupations and how horribly you're treated. That's why you can be snatched out the car and unlifed. That's why they can kick down. That's why you can't get no jobs. That's why you can only live in certain areas. It ain't got nothing to do with the color of our skin. It has everything to do with the fact that we are a conquered people. Now, our ancestors were conquered in Europe. Yep, Portuguese, Spain, France, Germany, Italy. And then they were overthrown, but that's what happens. That's what happens. And when you're overthrown, the captives become prisoners of war. And are either put in concentration camp, or in the case it was so many of us, they had to find islands and lands to drop off the prisoner of war Africans. They were so entrenched in Europe. Now y'all can go ahead and believe that Shakespearean stories about the Roman people. Huh. But don't worry, the truth comes. So, I'm like, wow. That's what it is. That racism shit, that's a smoke screen. Y'all need to get that out your vocabulary. A conquered people. If you remember last year, I was asking, I got a little bit, and I said, why are we like the kids in the schoolyard where everybody comes to kick and nothing we can do? Everyone comes to this penal colony and kicks us. They become citizens arrest. But not us. The citizens don't need a Voting Rights Act to stay alive if they vote. But the conquered people do. And we saw under the orange shit stain, when we didn't have the Voting Rights Act, them white people came with guns, RK, everything. Everything. And they were in their rights to do it. Because technically a conquered people is not supposed to vote. And we don't technically. We're just numbers for whatever ruling Democrat or Republican Party. So I had a talk with my mother. I said, listen, I feel so guilty now. Yesterday I felt like crap. I thought about how I voted for them to go in and shoot Rihanna. I thought about how I voted for them to allow a scumbag like Zimmerman to kill Trayvon. Because I'm a conquered people, my vote didn't mean anything. But a number to help them kick me either in the vagina or in the ass. That's all it is. I felt so bad. I went back. I thought about Ablo Louima. He's the one that the patty rollers took him in and used a plunger on him. And quite a few more going back. Rodney King. But there's so many that we don't even hear about. Remember, the German Ethiopians control the newspapers. So, we'll never get the truth. All right. We'll never get the truth. But that's how I felt. And then on the last time I voted, Joe Biden then, he gave us a judicial warden to make sure her skin, she was a conquered people. She has, her and Clarence Thomas, all Clarence Thomas could do is make money, and all she needs to start doing is making money because there's nothing else you can do. You are a conquered people that they just put in place there. Bad timing for me. Bad timing for me. Conquered people. So, that's what I learned. I just want to share with y'all that part. So now for the good stuff. So, it's daylight saving time and I'm laying there. And I'm saying to myself, I don't know, Vicki. Say you want to go to Ghana, and Ghana said they're not an occupied country, but what if you don't live to make it? If you don't see, what are you going to do? So I was thinking, I was like, oh, I'll just wait and, let they cremate me and maybe when she'll go over there, or she'll buy property, she'll put me up on the mantle. And I said, no, I don't want to be in the mantle. And I feel like my roots are in Ghana, but I can't say for sure positive. So, I'm laying there. Well, I said, even if, let's say, took me to Ghana, I don't want to sit on her mantelpiece. I want to be buried in the ground. And my energy will come with me, and the energy that surrounds me will come with me. And if I'm ever to invade a body, I'm going to come back because it's energy. And everybody knows that, except these ignorants under these European crowns. But I want to come back on a continent. I don't want to come back on a penal colony. I don't want to be to this. And then I started feeling happy because I only had one child. Couldn't imagine having more, knowing what I know. So I was like, oh yeah. I said, but what about if I outlive Leslie? What you gonna do then? I said, oh shit. I guess I can set something up with the cemetery in Ghana and have my remains just sent over. I was like, oh wow. So of course, jumped on Google. Yeah, child. Yeah. Right now, it costs about $50 to send my remains to Ghana. And then I have to look into the cemetery business and such. Do I pay for my plot now? Because I want to start sending my money. Now I want to go over and buy my goats from Ghana and my cows from South Africa. But knowing what I know about this penal colony and these folks that took the hypocrite's oath, I don't want to take the inoculation. And because I know that if I get inoculated, it's not going to work out good for me. I don't want to do speed rap. That's the best thing about me going to the American Bartender School. Not learning bartending recipes. The speed rack. The speed rack is the low shelf, the lowest alcohol. And if the person doesn't say, well, give me Absolute. Well, when I pour him a drink of vodka, I'm going to pour it from the speed rack. Because that's they call it rock gut. But you see, that's how you can tell you're conquering occupied people. Because your medication, all that stuff, is speed rack. The bottom of the barrel. So now that I know that, because I kept saying, how can I be an American citizen and I gotta have a law to vote? It kept in the back of my mind. And I kept saying, no, that's okay. And I kept saying, well, don't nobody else need it? Nobody else need it? And then people were saying, oh, that's BS. You don't need it. And then I sold my own two eyes when that orange sustained water was in office, how them hillbillies came down out their mountain, ready to blow us away in the voting line. And I was like, holy shit. We ain't no United States citizens. We're occupied people. Our votes don't count for nothing but numbers for them to count. Numbers to turn into a rope to throw around our neck. Every time I voted, I thought I was voting for women's rights. But I wasn't. They ain't got none. And I've been voting for them since I was 19. But my vote doesn't count like that. Not to change anything for my situation or African Americans. It's not in place for that. It's to be used as numbers that these Hatfield and McCoy and Duggar, Dems, and Republicans have. We have the numbers. Well, are you going to do anything for them? No, they're occupied people. We can't do nothing for them. It's on the books you can't do nothing for them. So then I talked to my mother. No, not talk. I'm not crazy. No, don't call the ambulance. I know only white people do that with spirits and energy. We're taught. We don't do that. So I was vibing. I said to my mother, yes, dear. I said, Mom. Oh, I didn't say it. I said, I vibe. Because I know she's dead. I know her energy is there. So I vibed. Whew. Gotta be so clear. That I will vote again when there's another political party in control. But right now, that government that was hanging y'all is still hanging us, and they call this suicide. Those patty rollers that was coming and burning up y'all houses and stuff like that. Well, they've been shooting us a lot. Snapped us out of cars and houses and stuff, our houses and stuff like that. So I said, I was, vibing very lightly. I was like, mean no disrespect. I know y'all marched on Washington. I know the story. I know you told me the story and the bus and the blah, 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 blah. I heard the story. But I voted since I was 19. And I'm old now. And I even voted for the old. No, I wasn't. But I knew I would. And everything I voted for to help the old people was nothing. My vote was just a number for them to make a rope to throw it around my neck and say, listen, you occupy bitch. You ain't never gonna get nothing here. You're occupied. No, you don't own the land, but the treatment is the same. The treatment is the same. We're going to do our hand weights. Yeah, the treatment is the same. And I realized that when I see what they was doing with the Hawaiians, who are also occupied people, but on their land. So I can imagine, I just can imagine how they look at African American soldiers. I could just imagine. How you gonna come and save me from occupation when you go home and there's a Hatfield, McCoy, Duggar, Dem, and Republican truck outside with a rope around it to put on both your feet and drag you apart? How dare you come to this country and say you're gonna do anything with war? How dare you? Even as a soldier, they see the pictures of the African American soldiers homeless on the ground with nothing. They see them and they say, well, how can he come to free me when he can't even free himself? That's why y'all need to stay out of the armed forces. It's a farce. It's a farce. I used to feel bad. I said, what do you mean they kicked the old lady out of the house, the old black lady? What do you mean that? Well, what? What a life. Human experience, honey. Human experience. I tell you. Human experience. Oh. I tell you. So, no. Until there's a progressive party that comes through here that goes and gets all those laws off the book that says I'm labeled born in blood inmate criminal, your laws of the lands that says I'm an occupied person, can't go here, can't do this. There are still sundown towns on this penal colony. These African foreigners come up, oh, I'm going down south. I'm going to go down south. Oh, they ain't so bad. They find them dead. They was in the sundown town. It's on the books. By every right, they can unlife you. Yes. It's on the books. And every time I see one, well, she was talking with us, and we was happy. I said, nothing but white people. We was talking, we was happy with her. Nothing but white people. We was talking, and then all of a sudden, don't know what happened. But she did. But the police don't investigate. Nobody investigates. Why? Because it's a sundown town. It's on the books. If your ass is there, they have the right to unlife you. Now, why would they have that for a United States citizen? A United States citizen that has the power of the vote. We don't have the power of the vote. We have the number. But as long as there's a Hatfield, McCoy, and Duggar, them and Republican in office, them numbers is going to choke us out. Squeeze your gut, tuck in your elbow. I'm going to bend my knees a little bit. Neither up nor down. I still got my 8-pound weight. Y'all still got? What size y'all got? Put in the comments. Okay. Something I said to myself, you were really delusional. Tuck in your elbow. Neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one for good luck. Oh, I'm talking about delusional as far as thinking that I have a lot of people watching. I know I'm like talking to Diana and her Canada friends and maybe a few friends on Facebook and maybe like 2 people on YouTube. So that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about, yeah, let me know what weight you use. That's what I'm saying. That's where. But everything else is crystal clear. Squeeze your gut. Tuck in your elbow. Have your weight neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1 for good luck. Well, we're supposed to have the gas people come. That's going to be about $300 for them to strike a match, but the longer they stay, the more money you pay, and we don't know what he's doing. He's supposed to do. So whatever he get here, I'm looking at it. It's $75 a half hour. We starting at $150, $75 a half hour. So I'm looking at least $400 for him to come here and strike the match on the heat. But that's what happens on this penal colony, y'all. So I gotta run because I have to spend the whole day And I live in the town, I can tell you right now, that they know where the is. They know where the is, and they know where the occupied people is. So chances are, I'm telling my daughter, I don't feel too comfortable that we're going to make today's rotation. Thank goodness the weather's been nice, and she ran around putting up plastic like crazy. So we okay. But they know where we are. So, you know, you get to the is first, and then you take care of the occupados. Later. Thanks for coming on the walk. Like, comment, share. Tell uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. And I'll see you tomorrow. We only got 2 days of 45-minute walks, Thursday and Friday. And then I can go back to roller skating. Thanks for coming on the walk. Like, comment, share. Tell uncle, tell auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe.